under the bright lights of Las Vegas, where boxing history seems to echo off every beam of steel and every chant from the crowd. Two warriors stood on the brink of destiny. The air was thick, not just with anticipation, but with the unmistakable electricity that only a true 50-50 fight brings. On one side of the ring stood the relentless Argentine destroyer, Lucas Matthysse, a man forged in the hard gyms of Trelew, whose fists carried the weight of a nation and the reputation of a knockout artist, feared throughout the super lightweight division. His knockout ratio alone told a story, power that didn't just hurt, it rearranged careers. Across from him stood the undefeated Nigerian contender, Ajose Olusegun, a fighter whose path was paved with grit, discipline, and the kind of unbreakable resolve born from hardship. A soldier in the Nigerian army, Olusegun fought not for fame but for legacy. He fought for every young fighter back home who dared to dream beyond the borders of their circumstance. As the referee brought them together, reminding both men to protect themselves at all times, the tension crackled like live wire. The crowd roared as the opening bell approached, each fan leaning forward as though the fight's first punch might land on their own chest. This wasn't just a bout for the WBC Interim Super Lightweight Championship. No, this was the collision of two rising storms. Matthysse, with his savage precision and merciless combinations, and Olusegun, whose heart, speed, and refusal to back down made him one of the purest warriors in the division. Boxing experts whispered all week that this could be a war, but nobody expected just how much punishment, how much willpower, and how deep into the well of survival both men would need to reach. As the bell finally rang, the story of their night, violent, dramatic, unforgettable, began. The opening rounds ignited with a fiery pace rarely seen so early in championship fights. Ajose Olusegun came out sharp, using his hand speed and slick upper body movement, darting in and out, firing quick combinations. The Nigerian crowd in attendance erupted each time he launched forward, shouting encouragement as their undefeated hero showed no signs of intimidation. But standing across from him was Lucas Matthysse, a man who didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't take a single backward step. When Matthysse touched the body early with a thudding left hook, you could almost feel the shockwave ripple through the arena. Commentators warned repeatedly, "You cannot let Lucas Matthysse hit you clean. He can whack." And as the exchanges grew more heated, that warning became prophecy. Olusegun moved with admirable confidence, landing uppercuts and flurries in tight quarters. But Matthysse welcomed the firefight, almost invited it, pressing forward like a predator stalking wounded prey. The early rounds saw Olusegun trip twice, tangled feet with Matthysse, but never once showed signs of fear. If anything, he only bit down harder, slamming right hooks into Matthysse's ribs, circling left, spinning off the ropes. But Matthysse's pressure was suffocating. His right hand shot through Olusegun's guard with shocking accuracy, again and again, forcing the Nigerian warrior to clinch, recover, and re-engage. By the third round, the war had truly broken out. Matthysse hammered away with combinations, double left hooks, crushing body shots, and looping right hands that snapped Olusegun's head back like a Pez dispenser. Still, the Nigerian refused to wilt. He returned fire with furious combinations, backed Matthysse up at times, and showed the heart of a man who came to win, not survive. Even the commentators, stunned by the pace, began questioning how long either man could possibly sustain this level of violence. And as the bell sounded at the end of those early rounds, one thing was clear. This was turning into a battle of attrition, the kind of fight where careers are changed and legends are born. As the fight transitioned into the middle rounds, the momentum slowly tilted toward Matthysse, whose brutal, thudding punches began carving into Olusegun's resistance. Lucas's right hand, a weapon described by many as a shotgun blast, cracked through Olusegun's guard repeatedly, each impact sending tremors through the ring. The Argentine was relentless, ripping left hooks to the body designed to break a man's spirit, then following up with punishing right hands upstairs. Yet Olusegun, despite being rocked, staggered, and forced against the ropes, showed a warrior's refusal to fall. Several times he was clipped clean, shots that would have folded lesser fighters. But he steadied himself, answered with a flurry, and pushed Matthysse off him. Round after round, the fans rose to their feet, unable to sit through the sheer drama unfolding. Olusegun's activity was incredible. Triple right hooks, rapid-fire combinations, and constant movement. But Matthysse's shots carried a different weight. You could hear them. You could feel them. Even the commentators admitted disbelief that Olusegun remained standing after the bombs he'd absorbed. Matthysse stalked, cut the ring, buried punches into the ribs and abdomen, slowly draining the energy from the Nigerian contender. Yet Olusegun continued firing back with admirable precision. Even when forced into the corners, he lashed out with body shots and head combinations, showing the spirit of a man who refused to surrender a single inch. But the tide had begun to shift, subtly at first, then severely. Matthysse's pressure was now suffocating. His combinations grew more fluid, more vicious, more calculated. And while Olusegun's heart kept him competitive, the damage was becoming visible. His legs wavered between exchanges, his guard opened under fatigue, and his body language hinted at the first signs of survival mode. Still, he fought on with honor, courage, and unbreakable resolve, setting the stage for the storm that was about to arrive. By rounds 8 and 9, the fight had fully transformed from a boxing match into a brutal test of endurance, courage, and human will. Lucas Matthysse, smelling weakness, pressed harder than ever. His punches came in vicious waves: body shot, uppercut, right hand, left hook, each one landing with bone-cracking force. Time and time again he trapped Olusegun on the ropes, drilling him with barrages that would have ended most fights instantly. Yet the Nigerian warrior refused to break. Even bloodied, fatigued, and rocked repeatedly, Olusegun stood tall, firing back with combinations that showcased not only his skill but his unshakable resolve. There were moments where Matthysse unleashed 4, 5, even 6 unanswered punches, only to have Olusegun suddenly respond with a rapid-fire counter-flurry that brought the crowd to its feet. Olusegun's courage bordered on legendary. His triple right hooks stunned Matthysse more than once. His bursts of aggression, short, sharp, fiery, momentarily slowed the Argentine's momentum. But Matthysse kept walking forward, a relentless machine, cutting off escape routes and digging into Olusegun's body with surgical cruelty. The ring became smaller and smaller for the Nigerian, who now absorbed punishment standing toe-to-toe in the center of the storm. Several times fans thought Olusegun would go down, his knees dipping, his head snapping back violently. But he somehow stayed upright, even when Matthysse landed monstrous left hooks and clean right hands that sent shockwaves across the arena. Olusegun steadied himself, clenched his jaw, and threw back. His heart, bigger than the ring, bigger than the moment, kept him alive in a fight slipping out of reach. But Matthyse's confidence had grown. His attacks were now unrestrained, predatory. The Argentine bomber sensed the finish approaching. Each combination pushed Olusegun closer to the edge, each power shot chipping away at the armor of the undefeated contender. The war had reached a point where one man's power met another man's unbreakable spirit, and only one of them could survive to hear the final bell. The 10th round began with the tension of a climax waiting to erupt. Both men, bruised and exhausted, marched toward the center of the ring with the determination of fighters who understood that the war was entering its final chapter. Matthysse came forward instantly, launching a savage assault. Left hook to the body, right hand upstairs, another right hand slicing through Olusegun's guard. Olusegun, though battered, fought back valiantly, refusing to fold. He landed combinations of his own, including his signature triple right hook, stunning Matthysse momentarily. But the Argentine Titan was operating on another level now. The damage he'd inflicted throughout the fight was beginning to accumulate, and Olusegun's reaction slowed, just enough for Matthysse to find the openings he needed. With less than a minute remaining in the round, Matthysse unleashed a soul-crushing right hand, followed by a devastating left hook. Olusegun's head snapped back violently. This time, his legs betrayed him. He backed into the corner, absorbing another brutal left hand, and finally, after 10 rounds of extraordinary courage and punishment, his body gave in. Olusegun collapsed to the canvas for the first official knockdown of his career, the crowd gasping in unison as the referee quickly intervened. Even as Olusegun tried to push himself upright, his body was unresponsive, the accumulated damage simply too overwhelming to ignore. With only 1 second left in the 10th round, referee Russell Mora stepped in and mercifully waved the fight off. And just like that, after 10 unforgiving, heroic, unforgettable rounds, Lucas Matthysse was crowned the WBC Interim Super Lightweight Champion. The crowd erupted. The arena shook. Matthysse raised his gloves in triumph, while Olusegun, defiant to the end, earned the respect of every witness with one of the most valiant losing efforts boxing has ever seen. It was a war, fierce, emotional, and violent, a testament to heart, power, and the unforgiving beauty of the sport.